Benny spent his mornings in the tall, thick grass of the meadow. He chased butterflies until his paws ached, leaping through the stalks as the sun warmed his back. It was a world of light and endless movement, but the meadow had a rhythm that Benny dreaded. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the light began to thin. Shadows stretched long and jagged across the ground, reaching out like fingers. The warmth vanished, replaced by a sudden, biting chill. Benny stopped mid-hop, his nose twitching as the first gust of wind rattled the grass. He did not wait. He bolted. His feet drummed against the hard earth as he sprinted toward the burrow entrance. Every shadow seemed to lunge at him. He dove into the dark tunnel, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He pulled his heavy blanket over his head, curling into a tight ball. Outside, the wind whistled through the grass, but here, in the damp silence of the earth, Benny pressed his eyes shut. He waited for the night to pass. Inside the burrow, the air felt thick and stale. Benny remained huddled under his blanket, his breath shallow. His mother sat beside him, her presence steady against the shaking of his frame. She reached out, nudging his shoulder, and pointed toward the narrow opening of the tunnel. "The night is not always something to fear, Benny," she said, her voice low and calm. "Sometimes it is something beautiful." Benny pulled the blanket tighter. His ears twitched at every gust of wind that whistled past the entrance. He wanted to believe her, but the darkness outside felt like a crushing weight, heavy and absolute. His mother sighed softly and closed her eyes, soon drifting into sleep. Benny lay still, but the silence of the burrow began to feel suffocating. He stared at the patch of dim light at the tunnel exit. His instinct screamed at him to stay hidden, to remain in the safety of the earth. Yet, a new, sharp curiosity pulled at him. He pushed the blanket aside. He crept forward, inch by inch, his heart pounding in his chest. He reached the threshold, his nose pressing against the cool air of the evening, and looked out. The world outside was not the void he expected. The moon hung high and heavy, casting a thin silver glow that turned the meadow into a landscape of shifting grays. Benny took one tentative hop onto the cool, damp earth. Then another. The air felt crisp against his fur, a sharp departure from the stale heat of the burrow. He paused, his whiskers vibrating as he tasted the night. It was quiet, save for the faint, rhythmic swaying of the tall grass. He felt a flicker of calm. Then, the silence shattered. A sharp, violent rustle erupted from the dense bushes just a few feet away. The sound was like dry parchment being torn in half. Benny froze. Every muscle in his body locked tight, his paws rooted to the soil. His heart hammered against his ribs, a frantic, rhythmic thudding that drowned out the wind. He tried to turn, to bolt back into the safety of the tunnel, but his legs would not obey. He stared into the black heart of the thicket, his breath hitching in his throat. "Who is there?" he whispered, his voice cracking into a thin, trembling thread. From the darkness, two large amber eyes blinked open on a low-hanging branch. They did not move. They simply watched him, glowing with an intensity that burned through the shadows. Benny stopped breathing entirely. The amber eyes did not blink again. A low, rhythmic sound emerged from the branch, steady and calm. "It is only me," the voice said. The tension in the air shifted as Oliver the owl leaned forward, his wings tucked tight against his sides. Benny remained rooted to the spot, his claws digging into the soft earth. "Look around," Oliver urged, gesturing with a slow tilt of his head. Benny blinked, his gaze finally breaking away from the owl to scan the surrounding dark. He squinted, and then he saw them. Tiny, rhythmic pulses of light began to flicker near the base of the flowers. They were fireflies, drifting like miniature lanterns through the tall grass. He watched as the breeze caught the blades, swaying them in a soft, hypnotic dance. The moonlight struck the dew on the leaves, turning every drop into a sparkling silver bead. The frantic thudding in his chest slowed, matching the gentle pulse of the lights. He took a deep, steadying breath, tasting the cool, damp air. The tightness that had gripped his ribs began to dissolve. He sat down on the earth, watching the stars pulse in the velvet sky above. The old urge to bolt, to scramble back into the dark safety of the tunnel, had vanished. Benny stretched his legs, feeling the cool, damp earth beneath him. He remained in the open, his ears relaxed and still. The meadow no longer felt like a place of hidden threats. Instead, it was a vast, breathing space of soft light and gentle movement. He watched the fireflies drift through the tall grass, their tiny lanterns marking the rhythm of the night. Above, the stars pulsed in the velvet sky, casting a silver sheen over the landscape. He did not move to hide. He did not look for the shadows. He simply sat, breathing in the cool air, fully present in the silence. The meadow was his home, and now, for the first time, he understood that the night was not a monster to flee. It was a quiet, shimmering blanket, holding the world in a state of perfect, undisturbed peace. He stayed there as the moon climbed higher, content to watch the meadow glow in the stillness.